1 second, please. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And here we go again, right? Fresh all-time highs. Imagine that. So pretty cool stuff, guys. Today, we're going to be changing things up a little bit. Instead of going through a straight educational topic, we're just going to have a little bit of fun tonight and dig into the stock market. Maybe dig a little bit deeper, look at a couple of the other type internals that we like to look at throughout the day on our Good Morning Market Prep video, our lunchtime market update, and our daily market wrap videos. So you can kind of see why we look at all this stuff, right? In tandem. Because it does give us a lot of clues, right, into the market action. So hopefully you guys find that helpful this week. And of course, after that, we'll do chart requests. So good stuff there. Before we get started, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. So, like we said, we're going to basically just kind of jump right into it here this evening and take a look at the market and a couple of sectors out there that are looking kind of interesting and really just kind of dig into it and see what's going on here. And then we'll take chart requests and wrap up. So let's get started. All right, guys. So SPX today up 37 points, right? So green here on the monthly chart. Why do we like to look at this? Well, mostly because of the we like to see what the monthly chart is doing, right? What it's reacting off of, what kind of support levels is it breaking out? Is it getting over the prior month's high, right? And are we red or green, right? Because we talked about this that before any big crash, right, we're going to see a red month, right? So that's really important for us to continue to track, right? Weekly chart, guys. Again, we track this too to see what's happening on the week, right? We just started the week and we're already at all-time highs. We got a big conference this week, the Jacksonville conference, a virtual conference, but Powell's going to be talking on Friday, so that could kind of shake things up a little bit here too. But we continue to ride our way up the bands, right? Why do we like the bands? Because if we get over the bands, right, and we're overbought, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we see pullbacks, right? And this market has just been so hard to find a pullback. I love how they still say the economy is still recovering. Haven't we pretty much doubled? And I think like percentage-wise, like more than tripled the actual drop here for this Corona crash, right? So I mean, we're just continue to plow up to all-time highs. So the big worries out there right now are the inflation issue, right? And tapering, right? These are kind of the big things that are out there right now. And then you got other stuff there, like you got China, Afghanistan, stuff like that. So, and I guess maybe the Delta variant, right? So we got that going on too. But other than that, guys, this market just continues to grind its way up. See, we really can't be surprised at when the price action tells us what it's doing. Right, and so daily chart again, really important stuff, right? We got over the ADMA here on the daily, right, and then we pushed up. We got to all-time highs today, and really not surprising. We put this in the bubble report this morning as part of our futures game plan, and we're like, okay, look, if it gets over this high right here, there's a good chance that it works its way up to all-time highs again, right? It just is what it is. And the big thing that we were really tracking today, guys, is incorporating the Elliott Wave right into into what's going on with the market. Right? This really helps kind of keep a pulse on the structure of it, right? It gives us a context of things to work with, right? And so here, right, we had this 1-2, and then things were looking impulsive going into Friday, obviously, right? We didn't really start to pull back. And then we had this gap up. Now, if you guys remember from our Elliott Wave shows, when you get a gap up in wave 3, it often is a really good confirmation that wave 3 is in, right? That's wave 3, right? So you get that nice wave 3 move, you get that big push at the open, then we just kind of drifted up into the end of the day. Now, what's going on going into tomorrow? Are we going to pull back? Maybe. I mean, we just tagged all-time highs. They could pull back a little bit here. We started to curl down, started to fall a little bit, right? And we kind of had this, we could be looking at a potential ABC pullback right here. You can kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 truncated 5 maybe, or this thing just turns into like a bull flag and we get a little more upside. Okay, so that's kind of what we're tracking in this market right here. So we're not really surprised to see the market going up, and we're not really surprised to see the market pulled back, right? Because when these things start to move, we start to break down, right? We look for these setups, we look for these wave counts to really help us, right? So that's that really is a big deal, right? So what else we got going on? So what are a couple other things that we look at here in the market to see what's happening, right? So one of the things we like to see is the VIX, right? So a couple things we like with the VIX, right? We want to see its relationship to its major moving averages, particularly the ADMA 50-day and 200-day. 200-day usually gets a little bit extended, but the ADMA, right? When things get over the ADMA, right, things get kind of a little bit dicey in the market. When it stays below it, right, things get okay, right? We also look when things get a little bit extended, right? Because usually you get a push on the VIX and things come back down. So when we had this big push the other day, it was a strong close, right? It didn't have that big upper shadow or anything. Then the next day you got the upper shadow, and then the market continued to push its way up, right? So we use the VIX to really help us, right, determine, some of the internal context of the market, right? And then we look at the market leaders, right? We go to we look at the Qs, right? I mean, the tech is kind of one of the big names, right? So this was hitting all-time highs pre-market, right? And so look at that, even it pushed way above its levels here today. And when you see this happening, right? When you see this happening with the Qs, right? That brings us to names that are hot, right? And so in the bubble report this morning, we pointed out Nvidia, right? And on our live stream this morning, we're like, guys, keep an eye on Nvidia today, right? We were gapping up. We had a nice gap here this morning, right? So we had a good gap that was working its way up, and it looks strong, right? Over all-time highs, so it pushed above these levels. Look at that, nice strong move, and ended up working its way up for a good gap and go type move here on Nvidia, right? So again, it was all about the price action. We talked about that yesterday, even on the Twitter. We said, hey, is it? Are we going to get to all-time highs? We're going to push through all-time. Is it breakout time? Right? I think is what I wrote yesterday. So it is, right? It broke out. Right, so it's making a nice move. So we'll see if that gets any fall through the upside. So that's why we look at like the Qs, right? The other things we look at too is the IWM. We look at the Russell, right? So these are the the Russell ETF, right? We like to see what it's doing. It typically is not a market leader, but if there's something wrong with it, right, then there's some issues, right? And one of the two of the big things that are on the IWM is the airlines, right, and the financials, right? And so one of the other things we like to look at is the XLF. Right, so one of the big market leaders, right? Why? Because as go the banks, so go the market, right? So what did we have here, right? We had this big channel breakout recently on the banks, right? That kind of gave a nice move up right there, and then look, so around that time, right? We did get a nice push here on the market, and then when the XLF pulled back, right, a couple days ago, right? Look at that. That was corresponding nicely with the market pullback too, right? So the XLF can give us a lot of clues. If the banks are looking weak, something's wrong, right? Because they're, as people like to think, the backbone of a lot of businesses, right? The loans, the cash flow, things like that, right? So if there's issues with that, then there's issues with the IWM, there's issues with the IWM, right? We start to see some other things kind of trickle into other areas, okay? So that's kind of what we're looking at. So what do we got, right, going into tomorrow? So the VIX, right, we've got this close below the ADMA and the 50-day moving average, right? And it's really not any sort of support, right? The next big level down here is kind of like the 16 area, right? Where it kind of got tight and moved up again, got tight and moved up again, and there's an open gap right here, right? So we're going to track that on the VIX over the next couple of days and see if that decides to perk up, maybe into Jackson Hole or not, right? If we just continue to get this grind up here in the market, right? And so that's the big thing we're looking at again. SPX, we're above the ADMA. We got a nice push here. Volume really wasn't there in the SPY or the S&P futures, but it's still a nice move, right? And price trumps everything. Price always trumps volume. It trumps all that stuff, indicators and everything. If price is going to do what it's going to do, right? If you're on the wrong side of it, it will plow through you, right? So just a little bit of that there, guys. So pretty cool stuff. So that's the market here, guys. That's a recap on this one. We'll continue to track this throughout the week. We'll take a look at some of these other. Kind of internals or other sectors throughout the week. We'll talk about that and see how things are looking. Okay? Sound good? At this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can, try to wrap them as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. Let me get a sip of water here. All right, great. So Shirley sent a few in via email, so we got Snap on the radar. So Snap was an interesting one, right? So Snap had an upgrade this morning. They had a couple other nice moves. Gapped over the ADMA, right? So nice gapping on that one, right? So you looked at tech, right? You looked at names that were strong this morning in tech, right? So Snap, Nvidia, right? Names like that. So Snap was a good one. Of course, other names ended up moving anyway, right? Which were pretty good. And we have that going on. WDA, nice breakout right here so far, right? So let's see if there gets any follow through, right? You can put a geometric line here, and you can put another one here. Yeah, and it looks pretty good here getting into volume. So let's see if it can continue to work its way up here, maybe for a little bit of an earnings run. CRM. Good follow through, right? So nice. Paul was looking at this, still bullish on his wave count yesterday on the Elliott Wave show. Great follow through here. Like I said, earnings this week, so let's see if it gets a little run up onto that one. JCI. Johnson Controls, right? So kind of the most boring name in the world, but if you have a long-term account, who doesn't mind just sitting on the ADMA as your account continues to grow, right? So still working its way up right here. Just kind of riding that move. Plan, let's take a look. Yep, so Anaplan, nice little move right here. Again, low volume on this one. You got a 200-day moving average above it. This one's a little bit sketchy. So good stuff. Thanks, Shirley. Really appreciate it. We're doing great. And OTA sent a few in via Twitter. So let's take a look at these. We got pins on the radar. So pins took the inside day up. Not as nice as Snap, right? It's still below the ADMA. Remember, Snap gapped above the ADMA, right? So this one still has work to do, but it did give an interesting move. Etsy. Etsy with an ADMA bounce, right? So decent push right there, but didn't quite get the follow through we were looking for yet, even though it looked good yesterday. So let's see if that was just kind of a subwave pullback and is ready to get going. MU, decent push right there to the ADMA, right? So kind of a hammer candle right here, but hammer candles can be a little bit sketchy, but it does have good volume. NVIDIA was strong, AMD was strong, right? So see if that can follow through and get back above the ADMA. And then AMD. We talked about this last night. I was kind of leaning bearish on it. I know, it didn't go down. But what did we say yesterday? We prefaced it with, right, if we break down below this geometric line right here. And we didn't do that, right? So we opened up the intraday. We broke out the intraday high. We ended up having a pretty decent day today with increased volume. So AMD was good too. It helped by NVIDIA, right, which was screaming to all-time highs, right? So really, really nice stuff there. Options Roxanne, if you via Twitter. So let's take a look at WoW. Hope you're doing great out there. So, wow. A little bit of a pause day there today, but I do like Friday's candle there over the ADMA, so maybe just a pause day and try to work its way up. NetEase. Let's take a look at this one. So, NetEase with almost like a double Morningstar reversal. It's also an ADR Chinese name, so just be a little bit careful with these. There's some news after hours on the SEC cracking down on brand new IPOs now from China. Didn't seem to affect most of the big names, but just see how that plays out going into tomorrow through the Asian session. So good stuff there. And then ICPT, let's take a look. ICPT with basically a Morningstar reversal. So again, real body under the real body and push over 50% of the real body. So now let's even get over the ADMA on that one and get going. So good stuff. JMOS, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, AMD, very, very strong move here today. Good volume. Let's see if we continue to push above that today's high. If it's above it here after hours, so see if it holds it. Right, so that'd be good. So good stuff there. And then, yeah, a little pump after hours. Let's see if we can keep going, right? So we got that little geometric line above there around like 110-ish, right? So let's see how that goes going into tomorrow. But so far, like we said, I mean, generally semiconductor strong. Most of the sectors looking pretty good. So, but, they always have tricks up their sleeves, so we'll see how that goes. Good stuff there. And Armando, what's going on? Happy Monday. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at eBay. Yeah, so eBay, guys, looking like a flag. Looking like a flag. Nice bounce off the ADMA, right? So looking very, very flaggy. Bounce off the ADMA, see if we can break out through there and get going. V with basically an inside day up, right? And back over the ADMA here with increased volume. So good stuff there. I know y'all were asking about that one last night. WDC. Decent move right there. Again, another semiconductor. Guys, this is one that got beat up for no reason, right? It got beat up this day here over MU news, right? And don't forget, WDC doesn't even make anywhere close to the same type of memory that MU does, right? So we're expecting this thing to get going here just based on that type of fundamental stuff here, but low volume, and I'd like to see it get over the 200-day moving average, right? So good stuff there. Adriana, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at Starbucks. S-Bucks. Yeah, not a lot of movement on this one right now, and kind of looking as kind of blah, right? Really tight, kind of almost bear flaggish, right? So a little bit of a gap above here still under the ADMA, so let's see how that goes. Pins, we looked at this one a little bit ago. Again, just couldn't get over the ADMA like Snap could, right? But it still took the inside day up a little bit. Bank of America, again, it's like the double Morningstar reversal here. This is back above the ADMA, but not really a lot of power, right? So, but it's hanging in there. It's still green, so good stuff there. John Turner, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at Piton. So Piton, guys, upper shadow, right, off of the other ones right here, and at the bottom of the cloud. So let's see how that goes. PD, no, not PDD, PD, PagerDuty. Yeah, nice push here on this one today. Good job on that one. And Talk. Okay, yeah, hanging in here on Talk. What do we got here in terms of geometric line since the IPO? Yeah, so see if we can kind of get above, right, this channel through the cloud, right, see if Talk can get going. I like it. So Shreya, yeah, so Jackson Hole is basically this like really boring meeting that all these global elitist economists go to and do all their weird stuff, and we get told how we can how our money supply is affected and all of that. So keep an eye on it. It's basically just one of those things. But Powell's talking. That's the big thing, and folks are looking to it. Investors are looking to it to see if we get any clues on future tapering. Right. So look it up. Definitely Google it. It's interesting stuff. Right. And then of course there's Bretton Woods too, which is another weird one. So yeah. Hey, Donis, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. Roblox. Let's take a look. Roblox with the increased volume here. Nice push here through the thin cloud, right? So kind of coming through Thor's twins right there. Let's see if that can get any follow through the upside. And sure, you got SPLK. SPLK is such a tough one. This thing always gives me setups, but then never follows through. I kind of stopped trading this name. We used to trade it a bunch, right? We used to get a bunch of setups on this thing. It'd really get going, right? I'm not sure what happened after that, but it just it started to just kind of get blah. So, but anyway, it's really, really kind of tight in this range. Honestly, I wouldn't even mess with this name, but sometimes it gets like a little bit of news, I guess. But JYNT, decent push right there, low volume, right? It's back over the ADMA, upper shadow, low volume, just kind of doing its thing right there. But decent move from yesterday, so good find on that one. C-Day from Friday, I think you mentioned it yesterday. Tight, right? So C-Day actually just kind of broke out of here, right? So it got out of this this triangle range, right, with some good volume. So see, track that, see if we can get any upside. Nice, we like triangle breakouts. Good find on that one, the Nest, and then DVA. Let's take a look. DVA, again, this one's tight too, right? So we're looking basically like a triangle right here as well. So with the gap or a flag, right? The gap basically being the flag right here. So see if we can get a breakout on that one with some volume. Could be interesting. Michael Phillips, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at AG. AG, wow. Yeah, silver, guys, was great. Gold gave us a bounce. And off of the... did I show this to you guys? So the GC gave us this amazing bounce off of this geometric line, right? So the gold itself, GLD itself, did not. It like kind of missed it. But look at how the gold futures just bounced right off of that level right there. And that really triggered that move. However, silver was kind of interesting. Silver had a similar geometric line down here after we got rid of the diamond pattern. And it basically almost had a lower shadow off of it on Friday. We got this nice gap up off of that here going into today. So it could be interesting. Again, a lot of these, silver names are really tough to day trade, but nice gap up today. Very, very nice stuff there. And then Oxy, yeah. So Oxy had some pretty decent strength intraday today. Again, nice gap up here. Just an awesome Morningstar reversal, right? Low volume, but definitely interesting, right? Pfizer. Pfizer, a little bit of a sell the news type event, right? They got like a full FDA authority for their their cocktail, and so let's see how that goes, right? So keep an eye on it. If it breaks down below those lows, right, might try to get to the ADMA. NVAX with a push there today. It's up after hours here a little bit too. I guess they're waiting for final approval so they can go down too or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. And Kalani, Hawaii, what's going on? Mara, guys, Bitcoin, right? So this is a big one that we basically called a couple of weeks ago. On that Amazon breakout news, right? We put it in the bubble report. We talked about it on our streams. We talked about it on the videos. And Bitcoin just gave us a great move, right? And so Mara kind of went a little bit in sympathy with that one here today. It is up a little bit after hours because I think Riot actually reported earnings. If you go here, yeah, they got a little bit of a pop after this. They beat on revenue. They beat on earnings. So it's pretty cool stuff there. And they own like, I think, $195 million worth of Bitcoin now or something like that. So that's pretty interesting stuff. So cool stuff there. And the Nest, yeah, you got Yelp on the radar. Let's take a look. So Yelp with a nice push here. Good volume today over the ADMA off of that inside day up. So good find there. M King, what's going on? Yeah, Neo. I was expecting a little more out of it today. It was on our bullish radar going in today. It is up after hours. I think some Chinese names are just doing well after hours here. But nice move on Neo. Inside day up there. Let's see if that can give a good gap up tomorrow. Workhorse, of course, is the... not as bad as Nikola, but just riding that ADMA to the downside. So a little bit of caution. I don't even get interested in it unless it's above it, right? Unless there's some amazing setup. Reed, what's going on? I'm going to see a D-Nut. Incredible find on this one. Look at this. Bullish. Engulfing candle 2 trading days ago. Friday, pause day. Today, follow through. Let's go donut. I love it. Krispy Kreme. Great find. And good. And Truth, what's going on? You got BAC. Bank of America on the radar. We looked at it a little bit ago. Over the ADMA. A bit of an upper shadow right there, so let's just see if we can kind of push through and get over those highs. Some good stuff there. And the Nest Docs. Let's take a look. Woo! Big breakout on this one here today. This is on Shirley's radar too, but nice triangle breakout here. See if we can get any follow through. Again, kind of a cheap name. But, I'm sorry, like a low float name, but something to keep an eye on. And then DOCN. Let's take a look. DOCN, yeah, nice push there over the ADMA on that one for after that inside day up. So good stuff, guys. Wow, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I think this is fun. We're going to have fun with this week. We're going to get a little bit deeper into the market itself. And let me know how you like it, right? So put a post on Twitter or put a comment in the YouTube video. Just let me know, see if you're liking this one. And we'll have fun with it this week. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the Good Morning Market Prep video right here on YouTube. And until then, stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys.